Welcome to the second class in our series of six called um, Buddhist Activism for Today's World. Um, for those of you who are participating in real time, please know that all of these classes will be recorded and they will be archived, if you will, on Lotus Center's YouTube channel. Um, just go to YouTube, do a search in the search bar, enter Lotus Center of Silver City, and then in the meditation playlist, you'll find what you're looking for. Last week's class, a week ago tonight, is already up there posted, so that's available for those of you who missed the first class in the series. Um, just a preview of what's going to happen tonight. I'm going to guide us through a brief meditation. No meditation experience necessary to participate in and benefit from this practice. Um, I'll offer some thoughts about bodhicitta and what it means to be a bodhisattva, a friend of the world, which can serve as kind of our motivation or can inform why we get active to try to make the world a better place. And then at the end, I'll allow some time for some questions and comments and objections if there are any. So why don't we go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture? When settling in for meditation, it can be helpful to bring to mind the image of a mountain. The mountain is balanced, grounded, and stable with ancient wisdom awareness. Day after day, year after year, the mountain simply observes silently. Rain may fall on the mountain or not. The wind may blow. The sun may shine. Leaves may appear on the branches of a nearby tree, change color, and then fall to the ground. The mountain simply observes silently. No judgment, no labeling, no comparing, no expectation. I'd like you to please now engage in the practice of silently observing. I'd like you to simply observe the rise and fall of your body as you inhale and exhale through your nostrils. Now, gently allow all of the tiny muscles in your face to become soft and completely relaxed. Your facial muscles become so soft and relaxed that it might feel as though the pores of your skin are opening up now. please allow the muscles in your chest to become soft and relaxed. And your lungs are now able to perform perfectly and without effort their natural function of breathing. The muscles in your abdomen, and likewise all of the muscles in your back, all of the muscles that support your shoulder blades and your spine. Allow these muscle sets to settle and to rest, to become soft and relaxed as you drop deeper and deeper on down, and let yourself go. The muscles in your hips and your pelvic area become soft and relaxed, as well as the muscles in your legs, knees, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. One by one, these muscle sets become completely soft and completely relaxed. The soles of your feet, even the muscles and nerves in the soles of your feet, even the tiny muscles and nerves at the tips of your toes, even your bodily fluids, even the marrow in your bones, even the cells that comprise the marrow in your bones are all resting and relaxed. Your body is a mountain with consciousness, balanced, grounded, stable, with ancient wisdom awareness. Your mind relaxes completely now as your body is completely relaxed. And let yourself go. I'd like you now to please bring to mind the image of a person who is in need of material support. This can be someone who you know, someone with whom you are close, or it can be a stranger, someone you have yet to meet. Their material needs can be shelter, they can be financial resources, it can be safety, transportation, food, any material need. I'd like you to bring to mind such a person, and then imagine that they're seated in the space in front of you, facing you, with their eyes at the level of your eyes. Compassion is a loving wish to free another from their suffering. Of all virtuous states of mind, compassion is supreme. So for the next few moments, I'd like you to please just rest in your heart of compassion with the wish, how wonderful it would be if this person could have whatever material resources they need to be comfortable and content. More than anything else in the entire world, I wish for this now. So powerful, pure, and unconditional is your heart of compassion and your heart of generosity that golden light rays radiate from your body in all directions, including into the space in front of you. These light rays touch the person who is your object of meditation and envelops them completely. And as a result of your compassionate generosity, there's a marked change in the appearance of the person in the space in front of you. Their color is better. There's a look of deep, deep relief, as though the weight of the world has been lifted from their shoulders. They are comfortable. They are contented. They are no longer in need. They're capable of moving on with their life with confidence. You can know that your own contentment and comfort are not separate from the contentment and comfort of the person seated in the space in front of you. So for the last couple of moments of our meditation, I'd like you to please just rest and share in the comfort and contentment with the person seated in the space in front of you. Now, please gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your body. Become aware again of the surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, becoming aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of clouds, of blue sky beyond the clouds, of outer space beyond the blue sky. And we dedicate all of the positive energy from this evening's meditation and class to world peace. May all beings without exception be completely free from all forms of emotional and physical suffering. May all beings have plentiful material resources such that they can be contented, and comfortable. May all beings without exception be peaceful, happy, and free. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Mm. Thank you very much, and welcome back, everyone. Um, so this is the second class in our series, titled Buddhist Activism for Today's World. And those of you who were able to participate last week know that we are using as our basis for so-called Buddhist activism an 8th century text called Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And I just want to offer a little bit of a testimonial. Um, the most important thing that has ever happened to me in my life was meeting the Dharma. And Dharma, for those, we might not be entirely sure what the term Dharma means. Generally speaking, it means wisdom teachings, wisdom-based teachings or practices, wisdom-based practices. Most important thing that's ever happened to me was meeting the Dharma. And right up there, maybe second, was coming into contact with the text, The Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. It's just such a miracle that I have such good fortune. In fact, I want to read a little excerpt, just a one paragraph excerpt from Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Um, Shantideva, who wrote Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, a Buddhist monk, wrote, "Just as it is rare indeed for a blind person to find a jewel in a heap of garbage, so too, by some very rare chance, I have generated bodhicitta," or in our case, maybe been introduced to bodhicitta. So some of us may be wondering further, okay, tell me again what a Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life is. Tell me again what a bodhisattva is, and tell me again what bodhicitta is. Yep. So a bodhicitta is literally translated mind of enlightenment. Bodhi, enlightened, or enlightenment. Citta, mind of enlightenment. And a bodhisattva is one who aspires to generate this mind of bodhicitta. This mind of bodhicitta that aspires very basically to become a better person for the sake of all sentient beings. Yeah. Maybe to even achieve complete awakening for the sake of all beings, for the sake of the world. It's like the most beautiful aspiration. It's the most beautiful, selfless aspiration, I think. And this is really important because I think at the end of the day, what's really important to all of us, maybe the most important thing, is for our life to have meaning. Yeah. When we get to the clearing at the end of the path, I think we'd all like to be able to look back and say, my life had purpose. My life had meaning. You know, I gave it my best shot and made a contribution to making the world a better place. That has given meaning to my life. And with bodhicitta, a bodhisattva aspiration, it kind of doesn't matter what we do. We can be artists. I'm looking at you, Deb Snyder. We can be a college professor, Roberta Brown. We can really transform anything that we do into something that is supremely meaningful because it's done in the name of benefiting those around us, not just our friends, but strangers too. And maybe eventually, not just friends and strangers, but enemies too, people that we might regard as enemies right now. So, Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life presents 6 practices, 6 perfections, they are called. And we are in the process of going through the first of the 6 perfections, the perfection of giving. Yeah, perfection of giving. The other ones, in case you're wondering, are the perfections of don't tell me, moral discipline, the perfection of patience, the perfection of effort, the perfection of concentration, and then the perfection of wisdom. Those are the 6 perfections. And I'm so grateful for the question that Linda Shook put forth to me before we even had the first class. She said, Buddhist activism. She said, is there going to be any hands-on actions that we're going to actually take to try to engage with this world and make the world a better place? She said, I'm all about sitting in peaceful meditative equipoise and that being our contribution to the world, but I feel like I need to do something. And these 6 perfections, especially the first 4, I would say, are a means where we can be in the world and contributing to the world, making a peaceful place, like tangible hands-on doing. Yeah. So how great is it that here we are, what, 21, 8, 9 centuries later, having teachings from Shantideva on how we can engage with the world and make the world a better place. So we talked about last class about the perfection of giving, and in particular, giving material things. There are 3 types of giving that are described in Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. The first is giving material things. And I want to make an appeal to apply some moderation to our giving. Maybe don't even give anything just yet. If you're like me and read and first introduced to this idea of bodhicitta and becoming a bodhisattva, like when I first heard these teachings, I don't know, 26 years ago, something like that, it was like, I'm giving away everything, right? I'm going to give away everything, my retirement fund, my car, everything, you know? And then if I had actually done those things, it would have been, I could see myself saying, oh my gosh, what have I done? Um, I sort of was overly ambitious with my perfection of giving, and like I could see myself going back to the people and say, could I have my retirement fund back, please? It's like the perfection of asking for your giving back. That's not one of the 6 perfections. But you know what I think is most important, you guys? I think is most important is to first start with the of cultivating a mind of generosity, a mind that perhaps sees the benefit of being generous, of giving, and then developing a wish to be able to give more material things. Yeah, because as long as our mm, as long as our mind isn't in perfect balance, isn't consistent, isn't steady, it's very likely that we're going to experience fluctuations in our generosity and our confidence. and our courage. And so maybe to start in the name of consistency and waiting until we can become skillful with our giving, right? Wise with regard to our giving. Maybe we should just apply ourselves to cultivating the mind of generosity before we actually allow it to play out in the world through actually giving material things. You know, it's said that it takes both compassion and wisdom to result in skillful actions. Yeah. And so although the compassion might be there, the generosity might be there, until we know what's the right thing to give and to whom, maybe it's best to keep it an inside job for now before, yeah, endeavoring to give things to people. But one of my favorite aspirations, you know, for at some point down the line is Milarepa, Milarepa, the 11th century yogi who I don't have time to go into his story, but I think some of you are familiar with him. And he said, Milarepa was hardcore. He said, the only benefit in having possessions is to give them away. And he was able to live that, right? For the rest of us, maybe not quite there, but let's just develop the aspiration, the intention to be able to give, to engage in the perfection of giving material things. Okay. The other two forms of giving cited in Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. The second is giving Dharma itself. And again, Dharma, wisdom teachings. Sometimes Buddhists use the term Dharma and Buddha Dharma synonymously, use the word Dharma to describe the teachings of Buddha. That's not entirely inaccurate, but there are lots of spiritual paths that use the term Dharma. Hindus use the term Dharma. I mean, I think wisdom teachings, wisdom-based practices is a pretty good definition for the term Dharma and keeps it sort of all-inclusive. And here again, my teacher said the most valuable thing that we can give to another sentient being is Dharma. Yeah, it's the most valuable thing. And we might hear those words and say, okay, yeah, giving wisdom teachings, that sounds good, or wisdom-based practices, but I'm still not sure that I'm qualified to give Dharma. I'm not even sure what that would look like. Yeah. Well, I think you know more than you realize about Dharma. Those of you in particular who have been coming to the Monday, Friday class that I offer, the Monday morning, Friday morning class, we're going through a text right now called In Love with the World. And the whole text is really about impermanence, is about impermanence. So if we have even a basic understanding of the fact that things change, we all know that the only constant is change, then we know Dharma. And we know really important, really profound Dharma that maybe at some point we'll be able to share with someone. Usually best if we wait until asked, you know, and then grab somebody, get them in the corner, isolate them, and say, let me tell you about impermanence. You need to know this, right? Best I've found to wait until asked for before giving Dharma. You could give a Dharma text, yeah? Maybe give a gift, Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life to someone who you think might appreciate it. Or basic text, the Dharmapada, a collection of many beloved teachings of Buddha. Eckhart Tolle text. Eckhart Tolle is a Dharma teacher through and through, the power of now. Maybe you give a text. One of the sweetest ways of giving Dharma, in my opinion, one of the ways that I've found is so sweet is mantra recitation. And to whom could we recite mantras? How about our pets? Yeah, how about our pets? You Friday morning students know that I have been pleading with you to learn a mantra and to claim that mantra and make it part of your daily life, make it part of your practice. Um, I think it's a really beautiful practice to recite mantra. I do it with my dog all the time. You know, I do the little things called cutie pie and handsome and playful and all the other terms of endearment, words of endearment in adoration. But I'll also recite dharmas to him in his ear, because benefit, those will benefit him in his next life. Those imprints of hearing the mantra of the Buddha of Compassion, Avalokiteshvara, or Green Tara, or whomever. And here again, we might be saying, well, I actually don't know any mantras. Um, I'll share one with you now that is, and a mantra doesn't have to be in Sanskrit necessarily. They don't have to be in Tibetan or anything like that. A mantra from The Power of Now, from Eckhart Tolle: all that arises ceases. All that arises ceases. And just to avoid any potential confusion about that, all that arises ceases doesn't mean that everything ceases to exist. No, it's like all that arises ceases being what it was before. Everything is in a constant state of evolution, of changing. That's bedrock, profound, practically applicable Dharma. Can be a mantra. All that arises ceases. And whisper it into your cat or your dog or your bird or whatever your pet is. Yeah. It's a really beautiful, risk-free way of giving Dharma. Time flies. I'm just astonished at how fast time flies. The third type of giving that Shantideva cites is giving fearlessness. Giving fearlessness. Now, you may be wondering why the order of giving material things, and then next presented is giving Dharma, and then next is giving fearlessness. I don't know the answer to that for sure, but my own answer for that is degree of difficulty. Yeah. I think giving material things is the easiest thing to do. Next in degree of difficulty is giving Dharma. And next in degree of giving is giving fearlessness. And in these times, in this country, being able to give fearlessness is really, really valuable, really meaningful. What better way to carry out our bodhisattva aspiration than to give fearlessness? Yeah. And for those of us who are um, upset or frightened by the current state of the United States government and the political situation, for those of us that find the situation less than satisfactory, I can tell you that when somebody is struggling and frightened and angry, giving fearlessness is not giving them the latest, most outrageous action by the president. That is not a means of cultivating fearlessness with the person who's in front of you. Yeah. I'm going to give a little bit of a personal share here. The state of the government and the policies that are being adopted, while troubling to me for sure, aren't the biggest source of fear for me. What really frightens me, what really, really frightens me is the climate, the climate crisis. You know, do you remember 2 or 3 years ago when in Portland, the high temperature, middle of the summer in Portland was like 117, something like that. 117 degrees in Portland. And I got to tell you, I became kind of unhinged over that. I became really frightened and yeah, kind of came off my base, off my equilibrium. And a friend of mine said, a Sangha friend, Sangha means spiritual community. A friend of mine's, listened to me process my fear over that development. And he said, at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. And those words are simple, really, but they were effective. And that friend gave me fearlessness or helped me develop fearlessness within my own mind. Another even more I find it another more powerful example of giving fearlessness. You guys can decide for yourself. Um, Another time, again, very concerned over the state of the environment in general and the climate in particular. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, they've been saying for years that there's going to be global warming. It's coming and it's here now as we experience temperatures in the mid and high 80s in late September or late August, early September in Southwest New Mexico. But I had listened to a book on tape called um, Human Nature. Human Nature, 9 Ways to Feel About Our Changing Planet, written by a climate scientist named Kate Marvel. And believe me when I tell you, Human Nature by Kate Marvel is not for the faint of heart, right? She kind of calls it how it is. And I was talking with my beloved Wind about this just a few weeks ago. And I told her I'm like really concerned about the climate crisis. I heard this book, heard some of the science behind what's going on. Like Kate Marvel didn't pull any punches. I said, I'm frightened. I'm frightened about what's ahead of us. And Wind said this. She said, my mother, by the way, passed away in May, having been ill for a long time. And the circumstances around her passing were not what I expected. And Wind said, she said, I want you to think back to your situation with your mom when you were her caregiver and all the time that you spent with her and all of the developments and the evolution of that process. And then she said, and then it ended up coming to an end. Her life ceased, right? She said, was the way in which her life ended different from what you expected, how you expected it to play out? And I said, dramatically different, completely different from how I thought it was going to happen. And she said, could be our global situation with the environment, humanity's relationship with the environment could be the same way. Yeah. Be prepared to be surprised. So anyways, whether that story resonates with you or not, she gave fearlessness. She gave me fearlessness, or again, helped me cultivate fearlessness within myself. So I think when it comes to giving fearlessness, I think we're kind of limited only by our imagination. Yeah. And maybe recognize the level and limits of our own wisdom. And yeah, all that arises ceases, you know, remind people of impermanence. As far as we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, but maybe try to be a model of, if not fearlessness, then maybe how about constructive input? Yeah, I think we can do that. All right, 2 minutes until 6:15, and I'm a stickler about ending on time. Anybody have anything you'd like to share, you in-person folks or you Zoomers? If you Zoomers have something you'd like to share, please unmute yourself and share away. No? Okay. Last call. Okay. Just a quick announcement. We hold Medicine Buddha meditation here every Saturday morning. And the times have changed starting tomorrow. The times have changed from 8:30, not from 9 o'clock to an 8:30 start time. So it lasts from 8:30 to 9:15, guided meditation, really, really blissful practice. So also a way of giving healing blessings. Yeah. Buddhists, non-Buddhists, everybody's welcome. 8:30 to 9:15 tomorrow. Guys, have a great evening. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Thanks.
See you next time.